What's up everyone, River here, and today we got our first battle in the UBC. If you want to know what my team exactly is like, please check out the team builder. I will put the link in the description. So, without further ado, let's get to it. So he starts off with the Terrakion. I lead off with Quagsire because based off his team, I feel like Quagsire has actually a good matchup against basically everything. The only thing I can't really handle easily is Alomomola. So I felt this was a safe lead, because Quagsire is also not that much of an important Pokemon on my team. But he leads off with Terrakion, which is, in my opinion, the main threat of this team. So I figured if I can get a free hit on off of it, that would be amazing. He obviously thinks I'm physically defensive, which we both know. Which we all know I'm not. So he opts to swap out instantly into said Alomomola. We opted for an Earthquake because that would be my strongest move into Terrakion and most of his team, which doesn't do a whole lot against Alomomola. So we go for the on the second turn, just to make sure it sleeps on the third turn. He opts to go for Wish, which is something I did not mind because I didn't do that much damage yet this game. So at this point he has to swap out or he will go to sleep, in which case I felt Heatran would be able to be a safe switch in because Alomomola is not going to do a whole lot this turn, most likely going to switch out, which it ended up doing. And the rest of his team does not want to 1v1 the Heatran, so we swap out into Heatran, but he opted to go into Jirachi. So in this case, he wastes his wish, and I can set up a sub for free, expecting him to swap out again. He goes back, makes a double into Alomomola, so I get that free sub off. We're going to get Stealth Rocks off, because he's going to do a lot of swapping, is what I predicted. He sets out a Wake Up Slap. I was not expecting a Wake Up Slap from an Alomomola, but the fact that that was his go-to move against Heatran and it does not break the sub is just perfect. Because now I know Heatran will have a great game. So we go for the Earth Power because it's that or Lava Plume, and Lava Plume doesn't do much against Alomomola. But I get the special defense drop, which means now it's 2-hit KO'd by the Earth Power. It reveals the Protect here, knowing that I'll know I have to play around this later on. But for now, I just need to pressure him. He needs to swap out. He needs to be afraid of my Heatran. So we go for another Earth Power. As we see, it does over half. It gets another special defense drop. Honestly, I didn't deserve that, but it doesn't do a whole lot because he's probably opted to switch out here because he ended up going for Wake Up Slap just to break the sub. Honestly, the sub is, in my opinion, the win condition for Heatran, so instead of aiming to greed up and just get the free, not so free kill actually, we just go for another sub. Playing safe, we got full HP so we recover with leftovers. He swaps in his Terrakion. I wasn't sure, but I was pretty damn certain I would OHKO anything on his team with Heatran at this point. So he goes for the close combats, breaks my sub, and I annihilate it. First kill of the game goes to Heatran, and Terrakion is gone. And that's why I feel very relieved, because that was his main threat on the team. He swaps into Jolteon, which could be annoying, so we swap out into Quagsire with the Electric Immunity. He does opt to go for Thunderbolt, so now I know I can get off a free Earthquake again. He swaps into Alomomola. Very logical choice here, but I actually opted to go for the Yawn, because if we would put the Jolteon to sleep, that would also help a heck of a lot for either Quagsire or Heatran, just put in some work. But he goes, obviously, into Alomomola, putting Alomomola back to sleep after it uses its Wish. We Earthquake it once more, just to put out some damage, even though it's not going to do much after the Wish and Leftovers recovery. He opts to swap out into the Claydol. Very good play, because I think, what did I do again? I wanted to Galvantula, actually, because I figured that if he would stay in to pick up the Wish for his Alomomola, I would be able to take him out with the Galvantula, but he ended up going to Claydol. Probably wants to spin away the rocks, so I figured I should just fear out the Claydol, so we went for the Bug Buzz. This is a Sticky Web variant, but I didn't feel like I need a Sticky Web right now, so I just went for the Bug Buzz. I get a crit and a Spadef drop, which is absolutely ridiculous. So I know I force him now to swap out, so I go for the Sticky Web, just to make sure that something like a Jirachi that comes in or a Jolteon gets slowed down to the point where even potentially Heatran could outspeed it. So we full switch out, because the floor just came in and we do not want to do that matchup, so we go into Doublade. Doublade obviously doesn't get a lot to do, and here he reveals that he has another Clerk. He has a double Clerk core with Alomomola and the Florges, which is normally ridiculously annoying to deal with, but at this point in time, it was fine because he actually had a harder time dealing with just Heatran than I had to do with his 2-month core. So I go for the Toxic, hoping for him to swap with anything bar Alamomola, but he does bring out the Alamomola, which gets slowed down and not poisoned because it's still asleep. Figuring this is my best chance for Heatran to set up again, we go back into Heatran, hoping he stays asleep for 2 turns so I can get his free sub off. And I actually opted for Earth Power here, hoping to kill it before it wakes up. Yeah, that was actually the idea there, but I think I actually changed my... No, I actually do go for that, and he gets a 3rd turn of sleep. Which is, again, really unfortunate for my opponent, but it's all within the realm of possibilities. He finally opts to swap out, and I think I do go for Earth Power here? Or did I go for... Yeah, I did go for Earth Power. Turns out that Florges is especially defensive, so Heatran is not going to have an easy time dealing with it. Instead, I do opt to go for the Lava Plume, hoping to get some good damage off, maybe a burn. I do get that burn off right on the first one. I mean, if Scald can do it, why can't Lava Plume? He wishes and goes back into Claydol, hoping to save it, which he will succeed at, because I opted for the substitute. Again, if he gets a free swap with Jirachi or Jolteon, Heatran's gonna have a bad time without a sub. So I figured the safety was worth it. Going for the Lava Plumes again, just to deal some chip damage. He gets a Rapid Spin crit off, like that actually matters, but he does get rid of the Sticky Web and Stealth Rock, so it's gonna help in the long run. I think he opted for Alamomola, and I did go for Lava Plume again, just, again, chip damage, but I'm pretty sure Earth Power kills him, if it wasn't for the Leftovers recovery, so we do opt for EP. As I said, it barely left 4%, that was exactly like the Leftovers recovery saving him. And now, obviously, Protect is coming out, but I think I went for Stealth Rocks. Yeah, I put back up my Stealth Rocks because Protect was quite the obvious play, so just getting the Stealth Rocks back up was good for me. Going for another Earth Power, hoping to catch him off guard, going for a Wake Up Slap again or something like that, but he opts to go for the Wish Protect stalling again. At this point, I kind of got annoyed by it, but I also knew that it was his only option, so I could respect his decision in a way. So instead of wasting my Earth Powers, which I know I'm going to need later on against like the mons like the Jolteon and the Jirachi, I have to go for Lava Plumes. Even though they do less damage, I do have the burn chance, which might help me in the long run. He opts to just go Wake Up Slaps in order to break my sub, while he still has the HP to afford that. But now he obviously is going to Wish Protect because the next Lava Plume will kill. So I opt sub, predicting his Protect. He actually doesn't go for Protect and goes for the Wake Up Slap, which is a good play on his part in my opinion. So he gets the Wish off, he goes back to almost full again, and I finally get the burn with the Lava Bloom. I think that was like 4 or 5 Lava Blooms. So he breaks my sub again with the Wake Up Slap, and I think I actually opt to go for the sub again here. He swaps out into Florges, because Florges is pretty much dead at this point. I did go for EP, and the burn will take it out. So that's a second kill for Heatran already. Heatran, as I said before, looked really good in this matchup, especially once Terrakion was gone. Here comes the Jolteon. I know Jolteon cannot outcome me, so I think I opted for sub, so I can prolong the longevity of my Heatran. He goes into Claydol, and no, I did go for Earth Power in case he went for Thunderbolt again. That was the plan again. The plan here was that last time when he swapped in Jolteon on the Heatran, he just went straight for Thunderbolt. With the damage he did, well, we actually didn't know what damage he did because Quagsire was my swap in that time. But I figured he would possibly do that again, and getting rid of the Jolteon would basically secure a win for Weavile. So we just went with Earth Power. He made a great switch into the Levitating Claydol, getting some good damage off with his Volt Switch as well. So overall, just a really good play on his part, I think. Yeah, we did good for Lava Bloom now. We got a 3rd burn with it, which is awesome. He spins away the rocks once more because Jolteon really hates those. Jirachi doesn't really mind them, but it's mostly for the Jolteon and Alamomola. At this point, he's practically gone, but I opt to go for sub, which ended up being an amazing play because he went for Power Split. Power Split would have really screwed over my Heatran because with a lot less special attack, he would not be able to take on the likes of Jolteon and, again, Jirachi. So I put up my Stealth Rocks once more, he spins them away right away, and I just kill him off with the Lava Bloom. So that's a 3rd kill for the Heatran already. Heatran, putting in the fine, is clearly the MVP this week. So now we got Jolteon again, breaking the sub with the Volt Switch. And I do believe I ought to put down the Stealth Rocks again. No, I went for Earth Power because that was the most logical choice. He lost his only ground immunity. He had 2 ground weaknesses and the Element Mola, which I really wanted down. So we go for the second Earth Power. He did not opt to stall it out. 4th kill for Heatran already. Heatran clearly done his job. And we haven't even sent out 2 of our Pokemon yet. So he goes into Jirachi. I did not know what he was, but I had the Druddigon specifically designed to defeat the Jirachi, with the Key Berry being activated on the Zen Headbutts. At this point, I'm not sure what kind of item he was, but... Oh, actually I did, because I was just not paying attention, because he's clearly liveable. He hits the Meteor Mash, doesn't kill me, Earthquake takes down Jirachi in one go. And now, the only thing left is the Jolteon. So, instead of going for... Oh, wait, we did go for Quagsire. I thought it was going for Gilventulator. So we do go for Quagsire. He's gonna take 2 Shadow Balls because of leftovers, and then we finished off with a final Earthquake. Overall, even though it was a 6-0, it was not the easiest of games, because, like I said, double Sclera Core was really difficult for me to deal with. But overall, Heatran was just too powerful for his team. He ended up actually... over-prepare for the Quagsire, because I know, looking back at the team builder, he had HP Cross on the Jolteon. If that would have been HP Ground, he possibly could have gotten a kill at some point. But bar that, the only thing that really set him back, in my opinion, was the early loss of the Terrakion. Besides that, it was just a good game overall, and the score does not represent how it went. So once more, good game to RGD Awesome. His channel will also be linked in the description below. And that was it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be signing out until the next video.